Lara, so good to have you on.
Hi, Claire. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for forsaking sleep, right, to do this today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. But you can
Right.
see it's already dark outside, so that's a window in the back.
Oh,
And
that window.
it's
And
almost 10:30 here, so
yeah,
it's nighttime.
exactly. And that baby grand piano is calling to me. It's like, come to me. It's
It's
lovely.
actually a very old piece. I got it from my grandma, and it's from my great grandma, so it's over 100 years old.
Wow, so you
Mhm.
have a history of music in your family. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, my great grandma, she used to play piano, and then my grandma also played piano, but I never actually heard her play. She had it in her house, and every time I came to visit, I would just, bounce around on it. And she
Ah,
was extremely relaxed. She told me when she was a child, they would climb on top of it and jump off. So
wow.
that's the history of this. It's a relaxed piece of a grand piano.
Wow, it's so beautiful to have that history of music and you really don't know how much of that DNA is really flowing in you, right, as an
That's
artist.
true.
Yeah, so that's so beautiful to know because today we're talking about the song Child of a Lion, right?
Yes.
Now that song has been streamed over 20,000 times and well altogether maybe closer to 30,000 and I've gotten such good feedback. It's been added on so many playlists, right? And more than the success in quote of the song is the kind of feedback that people have given about Child of the Lion. So what kind of feedback have you heard around that song?
Well, I mean, it's a unique song, isn't it? It's not like you probably didn't hear something like that before. Like even the picture Child of a Lion
Yeah.
that sticks out. And then it's a very bold song. I remember when we were in the writing room, we were meeting online, and I think our theme was
But
being brave. Was
yeah,
that the theme? Yeah. And so we started talking about it, and we had a very intense conversation about that topic. Like there were some very good and creative thoughts that popped out. So I think that's what people hear and give feedback on,
hmm,
that it has some very strong ideas behind it.
absolutely, and you're absolutely right about that. And people have called it an anthemic song, and it's quite interesting because when you record a song and you put it out there, you don't always say, "Here is an anthemic song," right? But people have called it that because they find the lyrics very, very bold and
Yeah.
very inspiring. And incidentally, I'm part of I sit on the board of a women's organization, and we had a conference last year that has the same theme. It was believe, right? And all the speakers were talking about something similar. And of course, I was asked to sing that song at the end of the day.
Ah,
Yeah, and it was quite interesting because the song ended up being the summary of everything we talked about in the conference.
that's awesome, Claire. I'm so happy for you.
Exactly. See, even more than the opportunity, it was the fact that when we managed to capture such deep truths in the
Mhm.
writing room, right? That was
Mhm.
applicable 1 year later, because the conference was 1 year later, right?
Wow.
And the song still served as a summary around the theme believe, right?
Wow.
So we started that song on a very bold note, like mic drop. I dare to
Right.
believe, right? So what was the mindset? I can't even remember what we were thinking, why we chose such a grand opening line. Yeah. But what were some of the thoughts we had in mind when we were singing that line, I dare to believe what you say of me?
Yeah, I actually looked back into our notes
Mhm.
because it's been a while
Absolutely.
since since you recorded it and we actually wrote it.
Mhm.
Um, so there, there were like some thoughts, and I thought those were strong, strong thoughts. Like it was like, don't stay quiet. You are exceptional. Which part of you do you need to embrace? We cannot lose sight of who we truly are.
So good.
Brave enough not to tame. I mean, that's
Okay.
like
Yes. Yes.
we
Yes.
put that in. Uh, Having full confidence in someone else, not staying quiet. Real is what makes you who you are. I mean, those were all
Good.
just like, thoughts that were stirring up the conversation. And I remember like say that we talked about, not saying, God, you make us brave, which
Yes.
obviously is a truth, but
Yes.
actually, I am brave now. You
Yes.
make me confident. I'm confident,
Right.
like actually embracing it and walking out in it
Yeah.
instead of always just having the stretch of, well, I'm nothing, but you're everything. I'm
Exactly.
weak, you're strong. But no, you're actually making me strong. And now I am, singing it out.
Absolutely. It's interesting. Somebody added that song to their playlist and called it Sing Like a Lion. She created she or he, I don't know. The person created a playlist of really bold songs and like Sing Like a Lion. And of course, Child of Lion was there. But I remember that conversation about no, not saying you make me brave. I am brave and I
Right.
am bold, because I am a child of the lion. So, what were you thinking? Because I know that you were one of you were very vocal about "Okay, this is who we are, right? What
Yeah.
scriptures were behind that thought for you about saying we are this right now in you?
Which scripture? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, were there a couple of scriptures behind that thought for you?
Hmm. I don't think I actually came from scripture that day. I think, you know what I think?
That's
I
fair.
saw, I'm honest, I saw a Netflix or Amazon series about bold women, and I was very inspired. They weren't apologetic about anything. And I was like, oh, wow, that's kind of like a new side to embrace like braveness and like being a female and matching that. You
Mhm.
know, sometimes we think in boxes, black and white, male and female traits, and to open that up and create a new picture of what a Christian female or a daughter of God can look like, right?
So good. So good.
So, I mean, of course, there are a bunch of scriptures that totally line up with this. That's not the question. That what God sees in us and the identity He puts into us, and that He calls us out.
So
Um, but I remember the spark definitely came from a serious.
bold women, go check it out, guys. Be happy for them. Yeah. No, but I love that picture. I remember sitting in a couple of conferences, I believe, that Lisa Bever
Yeah.
spoke at. And she is one bold woman, right? And she talks about there's a book by her that talks about I think the lioness arising, right? Which
Mhm.
is all about that picture of boldness and rising to take our place as daughters of God.
Yeah.
And of course, sons and daughters, because it's not just a song for the girls, right? But that is who God has made us. And I know that song personally has picked me up the floor so many times when I'm about to give up and like, I'm not going to do this. It's too scary. And I remember I am bold, I am brave, I am a child of the lion. And I think one of the parts that really, really resonates the most for me is the fact that um, He doesn't hold back,
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
and he
Mm,
will not be restrained. So I'm going
right,
to risk it and risk my all for him, right? Can you
right.
respond to that? Those two phrases, actually.
Yeah. What's the response? Is that the question?
Yes, as in, how would you respond to that? Would that also resonate with you?
Yeah. I mean, that's a very strong line. He
Yeah.
doesn't hold back and he is not afraid. And
Mm,
we are made in his image. So I'm thinking, okay, I mean, that's the big invitation from
right,
him calling us out to not hold back, to live our dreams, to work hard for it, we can change course. I mean, it's so precious that we have this life and that we are able to do something creatively with it, right? And we can change course. I mean, I think that's we live in times where we are very, blessed in the way that we can invest into ourselves and invest into our dreams and follow the calling we hear upon our lives.
right. That's such a good thought about looking at it from the perspective that we are blessed and we have opportunities today that we didn't even have 12 years ago, right?
Right.
To pursue and follow our calling. And for me personally, that song and that phrase reminds me each time I'm trying to hold back. And it's like, what is it going to cost me? What does it take today? Today to follow God's call, to do what we're doing is as simple as setting up your computer at home, right? 12 years ago, you'll have to start booking venues and finding, right?
Right.
And finding someone that will host you and allow you to come speak. These days, it's your phone or your computer and the social media, and you're done, you know? And so we find that the things that hold us back is not the same as the previous generation. And yet we look at people who took that same anthem in their day and say, we will not hold back because you are not restrained and we will risk our all for you. Right?
And even when we wrote that song, we were meeting online, you in
Hmm.
Canada, Susanna in England, myself in Germany.
Exactly.
And and I remember, I mean, I think during the time when we wrote the song, I hadn't done a lot of online
Hmm.
co-writes. So
Hmm.
you have to even be brave to do that, to be online, not knowing the other people you're matched with, because it was a retreat we were at. Um, you're stuck in a breakout room together, and then, guys, let's write. And you have to, you know, vocalize all your ideas. I mean,
Absolutely.
that's being brave, to put all your ideas out there and you don't know if the others will like it or not, so it's a total growing curve there.
Absolutely. And so that is a lovely and natural segue into collaborating and co-writing because as you mentioned, we wrote this song with another lady called Susanna Hewitt who's able to join us today. But it was a co-write by the three of us, you know. And I know that you recently released a Christmas song called Emmanuel that streamed way over 150,000, I believe, streams, and it was so good. And that song had how many people again on it as co-writers?
um Let me think real quick. One, two, three, four songwriters for the lyrics, and we were five for the music. Yeah.
Nine people.
Yeah, and it was such a fun story because I had written it with two ladies from the States a
Mhm.
year ago. And then last year I sent it to a friend of mine here in Germany, a guy, and he had this idea. It was a very slow song of making it an upbeat song. So he
Mhm.
just sent me his vocal with a guitar, and it was like a really happy, Christmas song, but with these really awesome lyrics to
Mhm,
it. It wasn't, sometimes it can get superficial when you try to do like an upbeat, fun song.
mhm.
But because it came from such a, you know, slow paced, rich lyrics, it was a really cool mix. So we ended up doing the upbeat song as a duet, which was, yeah,
Wow.
great.
Awesome. Yeah, I heard it and it was so good. Um, and so how has collaborating been for you? What did it feel like? I can take it, you can be honest. Collaboration with myself and Susanna on this song. And what have you learned about yourself through collaborating?
So I think a great takeaway is that I don't have to bring everything to the table by myself.
Good.
So, when we join, we come with different talents, different personalities. One person might be better with lyrics, the other is better with melody. Then you have someone who already has an idea of arrangement in their head. So I think that kind of shares the burden of, we are supposed to write a good song, um,
Mhm.
but we're all bringing the gifts to the table. So we are just sharing and praising the Lord in that, right? Um, so I think that's one thing that the song will get stronger if like different people with strength will join. You also get humble because you're
Mm,
not the only one deciding what the song's supposed to be like, right?
absolutely. Oh, there is that humility, learning to lay down your own ideas because you realize that your one idea is not always the best for the song, right?
Right. And I think, communication is a huge part of what you learn because you constantly have to give feedback to each other. You receive feedback.
Mm,
Um, so I think, and I have to say, I used to write by myself for probably 20 years. So it's only been in the last couple of years that I've written with other people. That was, quite the change because before that, I could do what I wanted. Uh,
mm,
could
yeah,
decide everything by myself.
right,
But and I still do that. I still write songs by myself, but I think it's a huge blessing to have, so many songwriters online that I can connect with and
right.
exchange and learn from. Because, in my hometown, there are not many songwriters.
Totally. I mean, what you said about the online community of Christian songwriters, I mean, it blessed me because I live in Canada and you're in Germany right now, and we're collaborating and we've written other songs together too, right?
Right,
If I was limited to the people in my community and with COVID for the past 2 years, we both wouldn't have written any or co-written any songs, right? Um,
right,
but we are blessed in the age that we live in that we can collaborate across distances, across time zones also. Uh,
right.
it's such a blessing, right? But what has been one challenge for you with co-writing your songs? I mean, you talked about the fact that you don't have that autonomy anymore. What about in the process of releasing the song too?
Hmm. With other people, you mean?
Yes.
Um, I think there are only pluses so far in the releasing process because it's you don't share the song only by yourself, but you have other people, stepping in, sharing it with their community. Um, so I think that's been really great. And what we want for the songs that I mean, I can write songs by myself at home at the piano, and I'm a happy person, right? But at some point, when you write so many songs, you kind of wonder, okay, are there people out there who want to hear my music? So you
Mm,
kind of need to connect people to your music, and it just helps, like releasing it with other people along your side,
right.
uh, to bring the song out to the community.
Totally. Totally. Well, it's been so good hearing about your collaborating journey as well as your thoughts around Child of the Lion. What is the one takeaway you have for an aspiring artist or anyone actually who wants to co-write with someone in terms of a practical tip?
Find a date. That's the first thing. You have to make time. You have to prioritize. Really, especially, I mean, we are both mothers. It's just, I would say our life is busy. So if you want to write, and I believe everybody can learn to write. If you
That's
want to write, don't hold back. Come on, risk a little bit, reach out. Look, you can check out Writing Worship. It's a huge community of songwriters.
yes, yeah,
Um,
totally.
and they have a bunch of online tools you can check out how to start, how to get inspired. So I've used them as a resource and I think they're really great. And then connect with someone, ask them if they want to write with you. If you have a songwriter in your church or your community, set a date, start. I love to start with the Psalms, so I usually just open up my Bible and start singing to the Psalms and start worshiping and see where it takes me. So that's always a good place.
That is so good, Lara. And thank you for sharing that tip about working with the Psalms and just starting there and seeing where it takes you. I know that Chrissy Nordoff is a firm believer in psalming. I mean, her great songs came out of psalming. And I know that psalming has been such a blessing also for me, just singing to the Lord and having that private space for intimate worship and all of those lyrics. I mean, I know that many of my song starts came out from that place of intimacy, right?
Yeah.
And just singing to him, to the audience of one. So, people, we encourage you, spend time singing to that audience of one. It's the only audience you ever need, right, Lara?
Yes.
Closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts.
Mhm.
Well, if you haven't heard Child of the Lion, go check it out on Spotify or wherever you listen to your music. Get inspired by it. Yeah, and congratulations, Claire, to the beautiful release and all the work you put into your music. That's very inspirational.
Oh, well, thank you, Lara. And you also inspire all of us. So let's keep inspiring each other. And guys, remember to risk it. Don't hold back. Risk it for him, right? Till next time, cheers, everyone.